I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness. The Democratic Party's hatred of the Second Amendment is getting worse. Actually trying to remove God from every facet of our public life. It's unfortunate that there's a lot of, false assumptions being made. Now, this isn't hyperbole or just my opinion.
Pushing these grotesque R-rated books into our kids' classrooms, trying to push this ulterior agenda that serves their interests.
There's no disputing that our founders sought to make our freedom and right to bear arms a constitutional right, not only as a means for self-defense, but as an insurance policy against tyranny. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Again, rather than saying, hey, we should stand for the education of our kids, we should stand for those who are dedicating their time to serving our children. You can look across many of these industries. Unfortunately, they've lost the leadership that they need. And this is where I encourage people, vote based on what is in the best interest of the American people. The contrast is very clear.
Who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality. We see many examples of exactly how they're doing this.
And so many others who choose this honorable job, which is often unfortunately thankless, to go and teach our children. But instead of having people who are supposed to fight for them, you see them out pushing this so-called woke agenda, these insane narratives.
Who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Back in 2004, the Democratic Party platform included 7 mentions of God. Their most recent platform in 2020 mentions God just once. I've literally not had anything to do with the World Economic Forum.
Ask themselves if they want to support a candidate that has so much disdain and disrespect for the American people. So let me start with how offensive it is to say that I am a witting or unwitting asset of a foreign country, working against the interests of our people and our country, the country that I am willing to lay my life down for. So if you're saying it's not deliberately, then you are implying that I am too stupid and too naive and lack the intelligence to know what I am doing. That is extremely offensive to me and to everyone.
No, it's something that I've been seeing pop up a little bit on social media. Maybe in the first or second year that I served in Congress, I found out that my picture and name had been placed on the World Economic Forum's website under this category they have listed as young global leaders. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, they have different people of different political parties and from around the world that are on this website. I was never asked to join, and I was never informed by them that they had put my name and picture on their website. And I honestly didn't know that much about it. It's unfortunate that there's a lot of, false assumptions being made, I guess. I've never gone to any of their events. I didn't graduate from any. I've literally not had anything to do with the World Economic Forum. This goes right along with another problem that these woke, insane, fanatical ideologues in the Democratic Party are propagating, because they're racializing everything. Demonize the police, but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans.
We're not going to allow any debates. We're not going to put his record in front of the American people. We're not going to give people any choice other than Joe Biden. And so my appeal to Democrats and to American voters, if people are thinking about voting for President Biden.
So for me personally, these experiences that I've gone through, combined with the Democratic Party's increasing authoritarian instincts, have really driven home the truth that protecting our freedom to defend ourselves and those we love, and protecting our rights and freedoms enshrined in the Constitution against a tyrannical power is exactly why we must ensure that our right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.